Hello, I'm Ben from the Any Button podcast. It's time for Overwatch Watch. Here I'm just going to talk about anything and everything Overwatch, just be complete and total nerd about it. I haven't played much comp this week, just bits and pieces here and there. Sorry about the video quality last week. The technique we usually use for putting the small videos in the podcast clearly didn't work when we tried to make them take up the whole screen. So I've put a link in the last week's video to the original video so you can watch the gameplay without me talking over it, but you can see it in a much better quality. The video that you're actually watching in the background now is the second round of a Watchpoint Gibraltar comp game, which is actually the game that pushed me into Plat from Gold. So I'm not going to go over all the patch notes with this release of Doomfist. I went over all of those a couple of weeks ago when these changes were still in the PTR. All of them have not been changed. There's also a ton of general bug fixes, which is just for PC and then whatnot. Though I am a big fan of the new voice lines added to D.Va and Genji when eating and deflecting ultimates respectively. Firstly, I'll go through some of the posts from the Overwatch forum. The first one being Jeff Kaplan, the game director, talking about how they balance the game, from the pro level down or the bronze tier up, in which he talks about the devs being accused of both, and that is an actual extreme oversimplification of what their actual process is. He says that they spend a lot of time discussing the ramifications of all buffs, nerfs, and reworks at all levels of the play. He went on to say that some decisions will be more targeted towards one way or another, but always with a deep consideration for what that means to the other side. Personally, I don't mind them doing it either way. I think doing it from the top down is the smarter way, since those in the lower levels will generally be looking up at the pros and the high ranks for tips and tricks so they can get out of bronze or silver respectively and climb their way up the ranking. No matter which way they do it, I must ask them to be consistent. For example, and this one is one I'll repeat over and over again until I get a general answer, hopefully from someone at Blizzard. Don't nerf a character like Roadhog into the ground with the explanation that one-shot kills are no fun to play against, which is a fair reasoning in its own. But to then go on and leave other abilities like Scatter Arrow in the game, which has the same if not more powerful, more potential to one-shot in the game, and then also go on to introduce a character like Doomfist, in which a majority of his kit, the Rocket Punch, is built around one-shotting characters. To go all technical, Roadhog's hook at its prime before the damage nerf was on a 6-second cooldown, but then got changed to 8 seconds. So take the 8-second cooldown and compare it to Doomfist's 4-second cooldown. Assuming all is fair in the game and you don't get altered or grabbed or something like that, Doomfist can literally one-shot twice as often as Roadhog. In more Roadhog news, Jeff Goodman, the principal designer, talked about playtesting an internal playtest of Roadhog with a negative 50% damage taken while he's using his Take a Breather ability, and also allowing him to move full speed while doing that. While this makes him more survivable and not so much of an ultimate battery, I don't know if this alone will fix his inherent damage problem at the moment. There's also been a big update to how the reporting system works. Not much of it has been detailed, but it promises harsher penalties for those who are doing the griefing. Though they have introduced a new system in which you are notified when action has been taken against a player you have reported. Again, this doesn't explain to what information you actually receive, and to be honest, it doesn't really matter at all because you're still unable to report people on console, which is where I play. Thank you for watching this episode of Overwatch Watch. Please hit the subscribe button down below if you are new to the channel. If I missed a particular piece of Overwatch stuff that you wanted me to cover, leave a comment down below and I'll cover it next week. I've been your host Ben, I'll see you next week.